I just wanted to thank you again for joining us today, Mr. Belafonte, and I wanted to take the discussion in a slightly different direction. In our class discussions, we've talked a lot about how social entrepreneurs often choose to invest in individuals more so than they even invest in causes. We've also talked about how sometimes opportunities arise that we instantly know we want to support. And like in a New York Times interview, you said that you're driven largely by a sense of rebellion, even anger sometimes, and with the causes you choose. But you've also had the opportunity to work with amazing, influential individuals who you've supported. Where do you think you find the balance between supporting individuals and causes?
I have a propensity for supporting individuals who embrace my causes. It's rather narrow, rather self-serving, but one of the miracles of my journey is that when I look at all the people that have really shaped history, every one of them that are in my life experience called me and invited me to come into their space to become engaged in what they did. Eleanor Roosevelt, to me, is the greatest woman ever in my time, in my lifetime. What she was, and what she did, and the way in which she did it. But in these invitations that were extended, I walked in, and I was curious as to what specifically did they want me to do. And most of the time, what they asked me for was to use the power of my art to service some specific need. Eleanor Roosevelt had a lot of interest in humanity and the welfare of children. The Human Rights Manifesto that she helped design and create led us to the Declaration on the Human Rights of the Child. It was her influence that created these documents, which incidentally, the human rights of the child is America is the only nation in the world that has never signed that treaty. Every other nation has come to the table and signed. America refuses, which says a lot about the decay of our own sense of mission. But in every instance, it was what was asked of me. I never had to impose anything. And they unlocked my sense of creativity. What can I best do to make this thing happen? And to service this cause, which I have never thought about before or never thought I would engage. So it was this reciprocity. They called, I answered. And they forced me to examine in my toolkit what tools could I best use to apply to the ends they wanted us to achieve. And always the thing that nourished that was that I always trusted them. I trusted their vision, I trusted their view, I trusted their humor, I trusted their humanity. And therefore I could throw myself in without any concern for consequence. Because even if we were to die, one of the great glories in death and all that stuff was really the fact that look who I'm dying with. You know, if I got to close my eyes and the last thing I see is Dr. King or you, you know, then what a way to go. It's just, everything about it said to me, I'm in the best place I can be. And everything that I did serviced that fact. I'm amazed at the age of 85 in America, with all of our value systems, I'm able to sit here at Yale University and talk to a bunch of young people that I never ever saw before and may never see again, but that they're interested in my opinion is, to me, I can't put a value on that. That's as touching and as meaningful to me about how my life has been spent than the fact that this moment carries some value for you. Don't get no better than this. It really doesn't.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry Belafonte, for never in my wildest imaginings would I think that you would share a few bars of Deo with us.
Deo!
And for the wisdom that you brought to the class. And thank you, students, for joining in this most inspiring conversation with who I believe to be one of the world's greatest philanthropists. This has been philanthropy in action. You know, Harry Belafonte shared with us that moment in which the entire world was singing his song, Deo. And he thought, how could I use that moment to make the world a better place? And he did. And he talks about how we actually find our moral center and how we make that decision about whether we are invested in making money or in the moment that he said when he wakes up and he can speak to Nelson Mandela. And we are so privileged here today that we could wake up today to speak with Harry Belafonte. And there is no greater privilege that I can imagine. Now, what are you going to do to change the world?